I have a series of videos on selection, conditions, and booleans. This is the first in that series. So start a new file. Say touch basic conditions.java. Open that up in the editor. Public class basic conditions braces public static void main string brackets args. And I'm going to add a little statement. I'm going to start off with a little statement that says what the program is doing. If statements. So we have seen that there are several types of variables. Right? For whole number information, we use int. For example, students enrolled in 1724 equals 21. For floating point values, or values, numeric values with a decimal portion, we use double. For example, approximately, probably if it's on sale. I've seen it over $4. For sequences of characters, we use string with a capital S. For example. And then single characters, we can use the type char. And that's single quotes. There are more than those. One of the other ones is called Boolean. And Boolean is a way to keep, a Boolean variable is a way to keep track of information that is either true or false. So you can use it to keep track of whether or not something is the case or not. For example, is raining. And there's only two values you can assign to a Boolean variable. That's true or false. Is raining. Let's say, for another example, Boolean. Um, it's true. So those are the only two values that you can assign to a variable when you've set it up as Boolean. So you can keep track of things like this. They print. You can use them in a print statement, for example. Compile that. So is raining is false, right? So it'll print whatever the truth value is. Notice that I did not use quotes around false and true. Right? They're not string literals, they're values. They turned green, just like the numbers. Just like the numbers, they're green. That means Java is looking at these as primitive values. Same way it treats numbers, Boolean values, the Boolean values true and false um, are at that level. So what can you do with a Boolean variable? Well, you can use it in a few different ways. One of the basic ways you can use it is in an if statement. So I can say something like this. Say if, and then put parentheses, and I have to put a Boolean expression. Okay, well, the simplest kind of Boolean expression is just a Boolean variable. Let's say if it is raining, and that's a header. I need braces after it. And I say something like this. Take an umbrella. All right, so the meaning of this is that this statement is only going to execute if the value of the expression in parentheses is true. All right, now, as a matter of fact, it's not true. Is raining is false. So when the program runs, we're not going to see this output. So recompile. This program demos if statements. Is raining is false. And I had a statement there. It said system out print line take an umbrella, but it didn't execute. It didn't execute because is raining is false, and we only do the if statement if the condition is true. I can change that though and say can change is raining to true. Run it again. All right, now I do see, oh, take an umbrella, because when this statement is reached, now is raining gets changed. All right, when I set it up as false, but then when I got down here, it changed. All right, so now it's true, and I do see the output. You can put more than one statement in an if statement, not just one. And they either both execute. Right? In this case, they both execute, or neither execute. Right? So everything in here, right, will depend on the truth value following the if. Right, so, for example, suppose I comment this out. All right, now what I've just done by putting 2 slashes at the beginning of the line, I've turned this statement into a comment. Now, comments don't execute. Comments are ignored by the compiler, and they never make it to the executable. So now, the last output I saw here was is raining is false. That's from this line here. Right, this is commented out now. It means it no longer executes. It's kind of like blocking it out. So now when I get to this statement, when execution reaches this statement, is raining is still false. All right, so both statements get skipped. Now, another little wrinkle about this is that Java will not really complain. In this case, this particular case, it won't complain if you leave these out. But it's not going to do the right thing. Take that out to make it clear what's going on. I say if is raining, all right, now it's going to be false because is raining is false, and I've taken out any suggestion that it might be changed to true. All right, so we expect both of these, as we saw before, you might expect both of these to be skipped. Well, if you don't put the braces, Java's only going to connect the very next line to the condition. And what comes afterwards is not going to be controlled by the condition. Watch what I'm talking about. So recompile and re-execute as All right, so I saw if driving, watch for slick roads. So I saw line 17. I did not see line 16 execute. That's because the indentation doesn't really mean anything to Java. The braces are what matters. All right, so notice that it compiled. Right, compiled just fine. So this is one case where if you leave the braces out, it's still going to compile but it's not going to do the right thing, which is really worse, because then you've got a logic error, and everything executes, and you think it's fine, but it's not. All right, so we're going to fix that and put these braces back, recompile, and right. So we skip both things, unless it's true. We don't. We only see the statements execute when the value of the Boolean is true.